Update: Am I the butthole for not wanting a ring my fiancé gave to another girl? Link to other post. I've gotten a few messages asking to update, which I'm sad to say will be very boring. We broke up like 2 weeks after the post. He didn't like that I posted about it on Reddit, therefore he said he definitely wasn't going to buy me a new ring and that if this was how I was going to be, then he didn't want to marry me, a bridezilla. I pretty much told him cool, get out of my house. That was about a month ago and he has a new girlfriend, who will probably get the same hand-me-down, ugly-ass ring he already gave to 2 other girls. There we go. Book closed. Web link. So, the guy was ready to marry you, but didn't spend more than 14 days to be upset about it? Haha, I don't think he was ever committed. I think I might know the guy. We weren't even dating and he proposed publicly because he knew I was the one. Naturally I said no and within a week he had found a new one. Found out more about him. He was married and divorced by 17 and last I heard was engaged 4 times by he was 21. I think he saw being married and women as something you tick off a list. He is in love with the idea of being married/engaged. His name is Ross the Divorcer. Ross the Divorce Force. It was an annulment. My sandwich? My sandwich? We were on a break. Pivot. Apparently people now call you mental. Apparently, that's the only thing he's in love with. No, wait, quite possible it's the ring too. So basically he's Gollum? His precious. We swears on the precious, precious. Divorced by 17. This is, possibly, not as uncommon as you'd think. All but one of my aunts divorced at least once before 20. Bonus points to my youngest aunt, who'd had 3 divorces by that point. I don't talk to that side of the family, but last I heard, she was on husband number 9. Damn, how does she convince marriage 7 that she's marriage material even though she's been divorced 6 times? I would think at 17 that it wouldn't even be a divorce, but an annulment, not that it's a big difference or anything. Wow, this guy has as bad a record as my awful mother. Is this Ted from Himam? He was very delusional and made grand romantic, creepy when I didn't even know his name, gestures of love. He is Ted from Himam. Did he steal the blue French horn? I had a college classmate propose to me. We had never been on a date or chatted for more than 5 minutes between classes. 3 weeks later, he stopped showing up to class, because he was in Azerbaijan. In those 3 weeks, he met a girl, got engaged, and they had flown to Azerbaijan so that he could meet her parents. This was in the first 2 months of freshman year, and we never heard from him again. You probably avoided being divorced before you finished paying off the wedding. You'll find a great guy who proposed to you with a ring he specifically chose with you in mind. Or worse, stay for who knows how many years in a marriage for whatever BS he says and that will have his way first and never an us decision or her choices be counted. I am dealing with the reality of this currently. It took me too long to realize it. My opinions, choices, or feelings were never taken into account, it was always about his needs. Don't fall into this. And then you're made to feel like a dick for wanting to be treated like a person or occasionally have your feelings taken into account. Been through it. Almost married it. Good luck, my dude. Stay strong and no matter what, you will get through it. I came to the realization slowly over the last 2 weeks because we had an argument 13 days ago and he hasn't contacted me since. In 13 days. Radio silence. And over that time I had the time to think and reflect, and all the separate pieces fell into place that all pointed to how our relationship catered to and centered on him entirely with my needs never taken into account. The dumbest and most trivial one of all of them, but the one that actually upsets me the most the more I think about it, was the realization that in the entire year plus that we've been together, and all of the things I've done for him, I've asked for exactly one thing. 1. All I ever asked for was for him to watch a Harry Potter movie with me. He's never seen them, he's a Star Wars and Lord of the Rings guy. He knows I love them. And it's been something I've been trying to get him to let me share with him. And he's always refused. And I've gone to so many movies I had no interest in seeing just because it was time with him and I wanted to share his interests with him. And for some reason that more than any of the other far more serious red flags and borderline abusive behaviors I came to see, upsets me the most. How the only thing I've ever asked for was denied because it wasn't part of his preferences or interests. Regardless of my own. You dodged a bullet up. There's better out there for you. And for me. Edit. Thank you guys all for the support and sharing your stories. You're all amazing and strong and you all deserve to be treated like queens. I'm proud of you for starting to put yourself first, don't stop. I only have one piece of advice for you, which is to seek out therapy. None of us can actually help you, but a professional can. Wait, this is so familiar. For me, it was just one episode of Buffy. I spent so much time doing things and watching things that he cared about. For me, the small thing that made me done was that he chose to spend his favorite holiday, because of that feeling of connection with everyone around you when midnight hits, with his drinking buddy instead of me. I was specifically not invited. Just made me realize that the whole dynamic did not make any sense. Almost 6 years with one guy and no Buffy watching, but my love that I finally found asks if we can watch a Buffy. It's so nice. I dealt with the same exact thing. He wouldn't even watch The Sorcerer's Stone with me. Now, I am going to Harry Potter World in Orlando next summer with my mom and my 10-year-old and couldn't be happier. We don't need boring people like that in our lives. Congrats to you for seeing the light, probably long before I was able to. Can totally relate. When I came up with the subject of me making more sacrifices to keep the relationship going, he went, "All, you don't think I compromise? You don't think I do anything for you? You're being so selfish and the best, can't things just get back to normal, how they were before all this?" Like, no dude, I wasn't happy before. What do you want me to do? Be miserable for life? And then they make you feel even worse for making them feel like crap, because you let them do that for so long that they thought it was okay, and now it's not, and it makes me feel bad. I hope you can find some resolution now that you know the truth. Good luck whatever you decide. Or when they choose together, doesn't have to pricey or flashy but should be to the taste of the wearer and the pocket of the buyer, emo. At least that's how we did it. 100%, to put it bluntly, I don't have good taste. I'd rather propose and let her choose what's on her finger for her life. Thankfully she didn't go crazy expensive, under what I budgeted for, but I didn't give a F cause it's what she wanted. My partner initially told me he wanted my ring to be a surprise, so he wanted to choose it. This was like 10 years ago. I told him nope. I'm going to have to wear it every day and I'm picky as hell about jewelry. I'm choosing it. When he asked if he got any input at all, I told him he got input into the budget, meaning he would tell me what he wants to spend on it, if anything, and if what I pick goes over that amount, I'll cover the shortfall. He said that if that's the case, he wanted to surprise me with a proposal. I told him he can do whatever he wants, but suggested that I prefer it be in private, rather than in public. If he decides to do it on a jumbotron, whatever, but he knows how I'll feel about it. Now, he says he's glad I put my foot down at the outset. We're not engaged yet, but he said that he's glad I'll be making the choices for the ring design because he knows zero about jewelry and would rather I just choose something and not force him have to deal with making that decision. In the end, both of us will be / are happy. How much do you think he was planning to spend on the wedding given the $0 he spent on the ring? Oh, he wouldn't. She would. Op would be the butthole if she asked for an expensive ring, but she's just asking for a ring that was originally intended for her. I can 100% understand. This comment makes me sad. For all people who dream of a wedding. What a crap industry. I had my dream wedding. It cost $2,500. No, I'm not missing a zero. The cake was 2-tier and a pale yellow with burnt orange and white designs. My dress was a deep forest green. We had giant party tents up in my mom's backyard with my laptop as the DJ, and anyone could pick songs from a family-friendly playlist. We made meatballs and pasta for the dinner. My wedding was perfect. My groom, on the other hand, was not a nice person, and I should have picked a different one. Lol. Wanted to marry you, then had a new girlfriend in less than a month? Dodged a bullet on that one. Massively. He just wanted a wife. And that is an awful kind of man to marry. I made that mistake and could never figure out what I was doing wrong. Would you be able to elaborate on this? I think I've dated a few guys like that and never understood what I was doing wrong either and can't put my finger on why. Did you feel like you couldn't be the perfect spouse for them even if you were doing everything right? That type of moving on makes me think he didn't even really want a wife. More like he was cleaning his desk out one morning, realized he had a ring, and figured what the heck, I'll give it to my current GF. Zero effort and thought. Because if he cared, maybe he would have tried to propose properly and not just break up once someone called him out for being an Glad original post is going to find someone that's not a mooch and will spend some time and money on a real proposal and marriage. Or a mom. This was my first thought. It's more like a classic rebound thing, with the addition that, since the woman dumped him, he's entitled to skip the mourning period. He withdrew the proposal, not the relationship, if Op's description is accurate, though telling your SO that you don't want to marry her since she's a bridezilla is an inscribed invitation to be dumped, or she could have been in the picture prior. Who knows? You mean nanny, maid, cook and someone to have sex with when it pleases him. He just wanted a bang maid. That sort of moving on saddens and amazes me. They were together a few years too. I have a relationship last a few months and I need just as many months to get back to life before I'm going to date again. Relationship hoping folks amaze me. This makes no sense. It certainly gives one the idea that he's out there like a modern-day Prince Charming, looking for any girl who will fit the ring he got a really good deal on. Fun story. An ex of mine is a serial dater. He'll have a girl lined up before he even dumps the current one. I don't think he's been single longer than a week since we broke up back in high school. A friend of mine still has him on Facebook and apparently he was married and had a child back in December. He then left her in I believe March? And started dating a new girl, who had just turned 18, that he loves so much at the end of March. Oh, and there's also absolutely zero mention of his son on his Facebook profile. Supposedly he was constantly posting about his son when he was with baby mama. I've dated a guy like that too. Even in my young mind I knew him saying I love you after a month was wrong. I now avoid any men who believe I am their manic pixie dream girl before they even know my personality. A guy recently private messaged me on Twitter and by quickly seeing my profile and knowing 3 things about me told me I was perfect for him. It's terrifying and I'm sure many guys have stories about girls like this too. It takes me months and months to develop feelings of any kind and by the time I feel something they are already bored and moved on. It takes me months and months to develop feelings of any kind and by the time I feel something they are already bored and moved on. I've never related to anything on Reddit more than this. I've heard some version of I thought you just wanted to be friends and now I'm into someone else. So many times. I don't know if I want to date someone until I'm friends with them, so where does that leave me? Makes you wonder if this girl had been in the picture before they broke up. Honestly, you'll be amazed at how quickly some people move on, with a new partner in the picture prior or not. I went through something similar to original post about 2 years ago. Everything but married and within weeks of us being inseparable and joined at the hip, she had a new partner. Quite literally moved on overnight. I've checked and have confirmations from my ex and mutual close friends, there was no overlap. She literally did just swing from one branch to the next after matching with someone new on a dating app. It was like I never existed. I was still adjusting being apart from her, she was moving the new partner into the apartment. So yep, it happens. They are relationships of convenience. Love happens slowly then all at once. Not overnight. I know someone who has never been single his entire adult life. The second he gets bored, he just immediately finds another girlfriend. Girls are interchangeable to him. Original post definitely dodged a bullet. I've always wondered what people who do that plan to do when they're plus 45. I've heard it gets much harder to find a partner then. I feel like those people just end up alone when they're older. You can always make it work if you lower your standards. Geez, it's just like that chick in How I Met Your Mother. The window for getting with her was hours. Honestly, the other ex-fiancé did too. I posted about this exact same thing when I found out my ex-fiancé gave my ring to his now fiancé. I'm sure she doesn't know that the ring was mine, but I was called a nice girl for just posting about it. Maybe from the ex-fiancé's POV it's different. But I agree, I wouldn't want a ring that was meant for someone else. Most of their reasoning was that you save money. Why buy another expensive ring when you can recycle? But still, personally, that's disrespectful. Shows that you don't value the new person enough to pick out something special. Bare minimum, get a new setting for the same stones. Honestly, I'm kind of afraid my boyfriend will do something like this to me, in the event he ever proposes, but I have a feeling we're going to last quite a while. His previous fiancée died suddenly and I know her family gave him the ring back. It doesn't matter how beautiful or perfect the ring might be, it wasn't bought with me in mind. I would be heartbroken if I found out the ring he gave me wasn't meant for me in his mind. If I were in your position, I'd be like, hey boyfriend, just listen to this story I found on Reddit today, it's such a doozy. Yes. I would be like, can you even imagine someone who would think this was a good idea? People are stupid. I would never ever even dream of proposing with a ring that I got for an ex. It's disrespectful to do something like that, and shows that you don't value this new person as much as the ex. You went out of your way to pick something special for the ex, but said F it, good enough with this new person, and now they're mad? Wherever did you go wrong? The nearest place that buys jewelry would be where the old ring would go ASAP, not another woman's finger. Can see why the original girl dumped him too. Probably was already seeing the other girl and was looking to settle down with his main. When she said no, he decided to make the side girl his main. Scummy as hell, but entirely unsurprising. Dodged a whole arsenal. Yikes. Unless it's a family heirloom passed down from like his mom or grandma, I think you were fully justified to not want a ring me used to propose to his ex with. The fact he already has a new girlfriend less than a month after you guys break up from an almost 3-great relationship speaks volumes to me. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.